The moment you want more money, guilt hits before the thought finishes. It is instant and physical. Your chest tightens and your posture shrinks without permission. No plan exists yet, but punishment already arrived. Nothing has been decided, but something already feels wrong. The body reacts as if it has been caught. That timing matters. The reaction does not wait for logic. It arrives before choice. That guilt is not ethics. It is not humility. It is a trained alarm meant to shut desire down fast. Wanting more was coded as dangerous early. Dangerous to family balance, dangerous to belonging, dangerous to love. So the system learned to hurt you first. Pain was faster than explanation. Pain stopped movement before it could become visible. The pain feels moral, but it is control. It keeps the want small enough to disappear before it needs defending. That pressure does not begin with money problems. It begins with proximity. The closer the idea of more money gets, the stronger the internal resistance becomes. Not when action is required, not when risk appears, at the idea level. Nothing concrete has happened yet, but the body reacts as if something unsafe is unfolding. Muscles draw inward, breathing becomes shallow, attention narrows without effort. The room feels smaller. Money stops feeling abstract and starts feeling loaded. It feels heavy. It feels watched. The pressure has no story attached to it yet. It is just sensation. This is not fear of failure. It is pressure to stop. The system reacts as if a boundary is being crossed, not a visible boundary, but an internal one, a line you are not supposed to approach. The discomfort grows quietly. It does not spike, it accumulates. Thoughts shorten, motivation dulls, the desire loses clarity. You feel less curious, less energized, less certain. This is not collapse, it is containment. The system increases discomfort until the desire weakens on its own. When the desire fades, relief arrives fast. The relief feels clean, it feels settling. The body relaxes without explanation. That relief teaches the lesson more effectively than fear ever could. Wanting creates tension. Pulling back restores safety. No words are needed. The body learns through contrast. Over time, the pressure starts earlier. Sometimes it appears before the thought fully forms, a vague heaviness, a subtle resistance, a sense that now is not the right time. This is why money can feel heavy even when life is stable. This is why imagining more can feel exhausting instead of exciting. The system is not responding to stress in the world. It is enforcing an internal limit around how much you are allowed to want. The pressure is not there to guide you forward. It is there to pull you back. It keeps you inside a familiar range where nothing important changes and nothing important is lost. That limit was learned long before money had meaning. As a child, you did not track income, you tracked reactions. You noticed when adults went quiet, you felt when rooms tightened, you sensed when something shifted without explanation. Money carried weight before it carried numbers. You watched how wanting was handled. Some desires were harmless, others changed the atmosphere. Wanting more often brought tension, silence, or correction. Sometimes it brought jokes with an edge, sometimes lectures about gratitude, sometimes nothing at all, which felt worse. No one explained this. The body absorbed it. Harmony mattered more than hunger. Being easy mattered more than asking. Staying manageable mattered more than clarity. Over time, restraint stopped being a strategy and became identity. The good child needed less. The responsible one stayed within range. The mature one knew when not to push. Approval followed containment. Calm returned when desire disappeared. Money became the fastest way to test this role. It exposed imbalance without warning. It revealed fear without language. Guilt became the signal to stop, not because wanting was wrong, but but because wanting once threatened closeness. The body learned that desire could cost closeness, that bond mattered more than the want itself, so the body protected it. Even now, when the nervous system senses desire, it reacts like social danger. Heart rate shifts, muscles brace, visibility reduces. The impulse is to take up less space. This is not about money. It is about attachment. In early environments, safety came from staying acceptable. Wanting more could change how you were seen. It could change your place in the system. The nervous system learned to shut desire down before exposure occurred. Guilt is the sensation of that shutdown. It is not a belief you reason through. It is not a value you chose. It is a reflex that pulls you back into alignment. Even now, when no one is watching, the response remains. The context has changed, but the rule has not. Belonging is treated as survival. Wanting more is treated as leaving. Once the nervous system learns this, identity steps in to keep it consistent. Wanting more money starts to feel like a threat to who you are allowed to be. Identity was built through loyalty, not choice. Loyalty to family roles, loyalty to class position, loyalty to the version of you that learned how to stay accepted without causing strain. That version survived by not wanting too much. It learned where the edges were and stayed inside them. Over time, this loyalty hardens into self-concept. You are not just someone who wants less. You are someone who is grounded, reasonable, relatable. These traits are rewarded socially. They signal safety. When the desire for more appears, it threatens the structure. Change risks distance. Distance risks loss. Identity responds by pulling you back into alignment. The conflict is quiet but intense. One part of you senses capacity, another part feels alarmed by that sensing. It reads expansion as disloyalty. Guilt becomes the mediator. It does not shout, it whispers. It frames restraint as character and ambition as risk. It reframes stopping as maturity. Identity uses memory as leverage. It replays stories about struggle and fairness. It pulls on gratitude and humility. These reminders feel ethical, but they function as anchors. They keep you tied to an earlier version of yourself that survived by staying within bounds. Wanting more feels like turning away from something sacred. It feels like disrespecting the past. The system then adds structure to make this feel reasonable. Loss aversion focuses the mind on what could be lost by wanting more, not money, but stability, approval, and emotional safety. The possible loss feels immediate and personal. The possible gain feels distant and unclear. Guilt loops activate to keep pressure steady. Memory supplies examples without being asked. You think of people who had less. You recall moments when wanting was criticized. Desire is reframed as excess. Not wanting feels virtuous. Money dysmorphia distorts scale. Your internal measurement is off. What you have never quite registers as enough, yet wanting more feels disproportionate. Even modest desire feels embarrassing. An income ceiling appears as a sensation, not a number. As you approach it, discomfort spikes sharply. Thoughts become circular, energy drops, justifications multiply. Retreat feels sensible, staying feels reckless. These mechanisms stack. Each one reinforces the others until desire loses coherence. Over time, this becomes narrowing. The range of what feels acceptable shrinks. You still think about money, but only in approved ways, practical, careful, contained. Anything that points upward triggers friction. Behavior adjusts to avoid activation. You soften language. You avoid specifics. You delay conversations that might force clarity. Numbers feel exposing. Naming desire feels risky. Vague feels safe. Over time, the narrowing becomes structural. You still move, but only within a corridor. Inside it, everything feels manageable. Outside it, tension rises fast. Guilt appears sooner. Justifications arrive automatically. Retreat feels wise. You steer yourself away before conflict is required. Eventually, this pattern feels like personality. You describe yourself as content, as not money-driven, as someone who values balance. These traits feel authentic because they are reinforced daily. Each retreat strengthens the ceiling, each relief tightens it slightly more. The escalation is quiet. There is no single decision where you choose to stay small. There is just repetition. Guilt interrupts desire, relief rewards restraint, over and over. The system becomes efficient. Mild discomfort is enough to redirect you. Wanting more starts to feel inappropriate, like reaching beyond your role. Then, at some point, the conflict goes quiet. Not resolved, just muted. Wanting more money no longer triggers guilt. It barely triggers